Sando said, we've all seen videos of different places, Ghana and other places, presenting to you the real threat that all of these disastrous conditions will cause. And it is really important for us to properly to avoid some of the things from happening. Like I said, you don't look at the alleyway where you're not supposed to go. You go there, you look at drainages that are being prepared, you stop it with that intentionally. And when something goes wrong, all you do is cry and yell and put everything back to the feet of God. So we'll be listening to Mr. Dole on some of the pieces of advice that they have to give and some of the actions, real actions that will be taken as we move deeper into the rainy season to make sure we don't have situations that what we're all seeing happening in Ghana and other places. So we had this major issue with the seizure of the drugs, 19-point-some million drugs at the RIA. We've said to you over and over that what is ongoing has a deeper dimension because the international people are involved. So absolutely there is no way that anything can be compromised. That investigation may be slow because they want to do the right thing, but eventually they will get to where they're supposed to get, and those who bear responsibility for that will be named and actions will be taken. But even as they try to do their work, as usual, everything in the country has to be politics. And the political actors are again attempting to do politics with something that is that serious. So we have noticed as a government that there are a number of self-proclaimed nationalists and patriots who are claiming to have evidence on higher ups in government who are allegedly connected to the drug situation. They see these so-called higher ups as suspects or individuals who are associated with the crime. Something that we consider as a national tragedy. And what we'd like to say to those people is that it is time for you to put that patriotism and nationalism you claim to possess to a test. And by that, what do I mean? If you have information that links an actor in government, whether it's a minister, managing director, families of key officials of the government, if you have the evidence, we encourage you not to just share them with us, but share them with the international people as well, because they are involved with this process. So don't sit back, call yourself a nationalist, call yourself a patriot, and throw all accusations that there are people in government who are associated with the crime, who are linked with the crime, but you can't say it. So maybe you don't trust the government side of the coin. Kindly share those information with our international friends who are also involved with the investigation. Do that and see and decisiveness that is required will not be taken. And for any Liberian citizen, whether politician or whoever, who is determined to address the drug issue, and you have evidence, we want to beg you, present those evidence or evidences. Don't wait until you are elected if you want to be president, or until the investigation is concluded before you come up with your so-called evidence on higher ups in government who are linked to the crime. Because the truth is, to claim that you have evidence of higher-ups being linked to such a major drug bust, they will not share it, and basically hanging on politics is actually irresponsible. And we expect all of us to take that responsible, patriotic, and nationalistic posture as we all try to get to the root of what happened here. Because you see, such a major national issue cannot be reduced to politics or treated as an act of comedy. It is nothing to joke with. It is hinged on the future and survival of the nation. It has bearing on our young generation, and you cannot treat such a grave matter as an act of comedy. So we encourage them to do so, because we also believe that it is a kind of disservice to the Liberian people for you to do so. The current government is serious about the drug issue. The president has been clear about that. And there's anyone who doubts all that we said in this regard, just try to present what you have that links individuals in government to the crown. So not necessarily us, but the international people who are involved, international investigators who are involved with the process. It's hard time we take things serious. It's hard time you do just jump up from your bed and play with people's reputation and people's name. And there's no basis to do so when you have zero evidence on what you say. So it's a challenge we put to you. You say it, maybe you have the evidence. We're encouraging you to provide the evidence. The Ministry of Public Works is informing all road users in Riverside County that the Cester River Bridge in the county has been temporarily reopened to vehicular traffic to facilitate the free movement of people, goods, and services during Liberia's Independence Day celebration and throughout the entire rainy season. The temporary opening or reopening is intended to support commercial activities and ease transportation needs during these periods. The ministry further informs the public that rehabilitation work on the bridge will resume immediately, even during the dry season, and that motorists and road users alike are encouraged to remain attentive to subsequent advisories regarding traffic management and construction activities. The ministry also is reassuring students and faculty of the Grand Bassa University that Jupiter Construction Incorporated has taken a giant step towards finalizing the bridge project under the supervision of the Ministry of Public Works. The ministry notes that the CEO of Jupiter Construction Incorporated and the chief engineer of the Republic of Liberia are in the People's Republic of Ghana to carry out load testing on a truss bridge that has been fabricated for installation at the Grand Bassa University crossing point. The bridge, spanning 225 feet in length and 3.5 meters in width, and a pedestrian walkway, will be shipped to Liberia immediately after the test, with anticipation for full completion in November of this year. Meanwhile, there are ongoing procurement processes at the Ministry of Public Works for the pavement of the approach road that connects the university to mainland Bikiano. This is scheduled to happen simultaneously with the launching of the bridge. As some of you who are media people may already know, the government of Liberia has been closely monitoring the evolving security situation in the Republic of South Africa, particularly with regards to reports of actions and demonstrations targeting foreign nationals. Our embassy in Pretoria has remained actively engaged with the Liberian community across South Africa to monitor developments, share timely information, and help ensure the safety and well-being of Liberian citizens in the wake of the situation. Accordingly, the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, LRRC, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have initiated a joint emergency voluntary repatriation exercise of Liberians who have expressed their desire to return home. That intervention came ahead of the June 30th ultimatum reportedly issued by a group of private South African protesters calling for the departure of undocumented foreign nationals from South African territory. Of the recorded 263 Liberians currently residing in South Africa, 29 have requested formally voluntary repatriation. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the LRRC have put in place the necessary arrangements to facilitate their return to Liberia by air. Given that most Liberians in South Africa are undocumented, the Liberian embassy in Pretoria has already processed emergency travel certificates for those to be repatriated who fall in that category. In addition, the embassy has engaged the relevant South African authorities to facilitate the safe departure of undocumented Liberians who may otherwise face arrest or detention under the South African immigration laws. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs commends the leadership of the Liberian communities in Pretoria, Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town for their invaluable cooperation and support to the Liberian embassy during the embassy's outreach visits to the localities. Their assistance greatly facilitated direct engagement with Liberian nationals and enabled the accurate collection of data and information essential to the government's response to the evolving situation. The government of Liberia encourages all affected Liberian nationals in South Africa to remain calm and maintain regular contact with the Liberian embassy in Pretoria through the established communication channels. This will help prevent misinformation and ensure the effective coordination of the government's ongoing efforts to safeguard their welfare and provide appropriate assistance. The government remains committed to the safety, protection, and well-being of all Liberian citizens abroad and will continue to work closely with the South African authorities and other stakeholders to address the ongoing situation. On April 29, the Liberia Electricity Corporation officially launched a landmark electrification project that promises to transform Bikiano City and its surrounding communities through expanded access to reliable electricity. The initiative presents a strategic investment aligned with government national electrification agenda and Liberia's broader development priorities. That project is expected to be commissioned on July 26 during Liberia's Independence Day celebration as part of the government's national infrastructural development interventions. Phase 1 of that project will expand electricity infrastructure from the Transco CRSB substations through key corridors, including approximately 0.25 kilometers from the substation, 1 kilometer along the Monrovia parking corridor towards Riverside, and 6 kilometers into Buchanan City. The project will also include the installation of more lights to improve visibility in nighttime economic activities and connections of public buildings, facilities which include schools, hospitals, police stations, places of worship, and major businesses. As part of the celebration, the President is expected to break grounds for the construction and pavement of 2.3 kilometers connecting Open Bible Junction to Kebbi Street and from the Fairground Junction to Dead Hole. To reposition Liberia's railways as a strategic national asset that will unlock significant economic opportunities, the Law Reform Commission, along with the Ministry of Justice, the Liaison Office, the Liberian National Railways Authority, the Governance Commission, the Ministry of Transport, the National Investment Commission, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, the Railroad Technical Expert, Mining Expert, development partners, among many others, are validating a proposed piece of legislation for the multi-user railroad system. The Law Reform Commission said 5 key economic dividends will be reaped by Liberia when a proposed legislation is passed into law. First, it can enhance investors' confidence by providing a predictable legal and regulatory environment for railway operations and infrastructure development. Second, it can facilitate increased mining production and export by improving transportation efficiency and reducing logistical bottlenecks. 3, it can support agricultural commercialization by enabling farmers and agro-businesses to transport goods more efficiently from production centers to domestic and international markets. 4th, it can stimulate industrial development by lowering transportation costs and improving connectivity between resource-rich regions and the economic corridors. And the 5th, it can create employment opportunities through railway construction, maintenance, operations, and associated value chains. Historically, railway infrastructure in Liberia has largely been developed and utilized to support specific mining concessions. While this model contributed to economic activity, it often limited broader national access and restrained or constrained opportunities for diversified economic growth. The validation of the proposed act marks another significant milestone in Liberia's ongoing efforts to strengthen its legal, regulatory, and institutional framework for sustainable economic development. The President has endorsed a proposal from the board of Directors and Management of the Liberia Petroleum Refinery Company, LPRC, for a 50 million petroleum storage expansion project. According to the approved proposal, there will be a 50,000 metric ton tank farm that will strengthen Liberia's fuel storage and distribution network. The main goal for the expansion project, according to the LPRC, is to expand petroleum storage, stabilize local fuel supply, reduce reliance on private reserves, and transition LPRC from solely storing products to directly importing strategic fuel reserves. The outcome will guarantee fuel availability, it will stabilize price and generate revenue through import levies and sales taxes. As a major boost to the recently established task force on illicit mining, the Liberia Chamber of Mines, which is an umbrella group of mining stakeholders, has announced support behind the President's decision to create a national body to confront illegal mining, calling the move a long overdue step towards protecting the country's mineral wealth. The Chamber welcomed Executive Order number 167, which establishes a national task force to combat illicit mining activities, and described the order as a decisive show of leadership, and said it reflected the government's commitment to the rule of law in a more transparent mining sector. The Chamber noted that illicit mining remains one of the gravest threats facing Liberia's extractive industry, draining public revenue, discouraging legitimate investment, and accelerating environmental damage. They said the practice also carries a heavy social toll, contributing to school dropouts, insecurity in mining community, and the loss of farmland and water sources. The UNDP in Liberia hosted a courtesy meeting with the Liberia Carbon Market Authority, led by Madam Jenny Cooper, to reaffirm their joint commitment to advancing Liberia's participation in global carbon markets and unlocking climate finance opportunities for sustainable development. The UNDP Liberia resident representative Aliyu Dia commended the leadership of the Carbon Market Authority and the government of Liberia for the progress made so far, noting that a credible policy and regulatory framework is essential for positioning Liberia to access climate finance and attract responsible investment. The UNDP representative indicated that the carbon market presents a unique opportunity to translate natural capital into sustainable economic value while ensuring benefit-rich communities and support long-term environmental sustainability. The leadership of the LDEA has taken note of a viral video circulating on social media that reportedly depicts the abuse of a female by individuals believed to be LDEA officers. The agency has ordered an immediate and comprehensive investigation to establish the authenticity of the video, determine its source, identify all persons involved, and ascertain whether the individuals depicted are members of the LDEA. The agency, which is the state Should the investigation establish the involvement of any personnel, appropriate disciplinary and legal action will be taken. Is above the law. The LDA strongly condemns any form of degrading, inhumane, and unlawful treatment respect and the protection of their fundamental rights at all times. The agency further appeals to members of the public to assist the investigation by providing any credible information, original footage, and other relevant evidence that may aid in establishing the facts. At the same time, the public is encouraged to refrain from spreading unverified claims while the investigation is ongoing. The LDA remains steadfast in its commitment to professionalism, to transparency, to accountability, and the rule of law as it continues to protect and serve the people. They are encouraging the public to assist with information through their hotlines 0777 133 333 or 0888 133 333. More than 400 officers of the Liberia Immigration Service have graduated from a 2-week intensive specialized in-service training program aimed at strengthening their capacity to respond to emerging national security challenges while promoting professionalism, discipline, and excellence in service. The Liberia Immigration Service Commissioner General Elijah Rufus congratulated the graduates, describing the completion of their intensive training program as a significant milestone in the ongoing transformation of the Immigration Service into a disciplined, a professional, and technology-driven institution. The graduation marks another milestone of the Immigration Service ongoing efforts that is meant to strengthen institutional capacity, enhance border management as part of the government of Liberia border security reform agenda. The Financial Intelligence Agency is performing remarkably thus far as the entity continues rigorous training aimed at bolstering efforts against money laundering, terrorist financing, risk assessment, proliferation financing, and digital data collection. According to Mr. Nasser, who is the entity's head, the rigorous training which was conducted on the 26th of June came in the wake of a specialized training carried out by the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa for competent authorities, noting that the training focused on processes and procedures for collecting accurate and timely data ahead of Liberia's TER Roundtable Mutual Evaluation. The session brought together representatives from the Central Bank, from the LRA, from the FIA, from law enforcement authorities, prosecutorial authorities, tax authorities, and sector regulators. Momentarily, you are invited. And I am going.
I want to thank you, Minister, for inviting me. I feel energized